and keep it up tempo. Go like that early and see if you can get out in front.
Alex in Andover, what do you think of the Ravens?
Let me start by saying you guys really cracked the NFL draft code there last segment, drafting the best players off the best college teams like Bama. That's very cutting edge. But
well, okay, jackass. Alex, how do you feel about the way the
divisional round?
So you're just still talking? That. Hey, Jackwagon, Alex, stop talking for a second. How have the Patriots drafted the last, several years? Have they drafted the best players off the best college programs?
Sometimes they have. Upshaw, obvious pick out of Bama. I don't want to get into the Ravens draft strategy. I have real takes I want to get into.
Oh, no, but what was the first one then? So you're saying we shouldn't give Ozzie Newsome credit for drafting better than Bill Belichick?
You can give him credit for taking the best players off the best teams, but that's not a unique strategy. There are plenty of teams that have done that before.
How come your team doesn't do that?
LSU,
How come your team doesn't do that?
You can go back and forth.
Hey, Alex.
That's not a strategy. That just happens to be an.
Okay, we'll see you again. See if we can try it back and forth. How come your team hasn't done that?
They have done it. I mean, they took Hightower off Alabama when he was the best player. He worked out.
Okay. So keep going. Is that what they?
I have other takes though. We talk about these tomato can games from the divisional round for Tom. Flacco was 5-0 in the wild card round in his career. We talk about his 10-4 record. 5 of those games came in the wild card round. I mean, Tom doesn't even play in the wild card round. Does he get no credit? He just gets buys. But even further than that, I want to talk about the Ravens being frauds.
I think they played the wild card round in 09 to get their asses kicked. But keep going.
Yeah, no, hold on. And Alex, I'm not going to let you go, but we should discuss that. When was the last time they were in the wild card round?
I think it was 09, right? It was a wild card round game.
Hold on one second. Hey, Alex, who did the Patriots play the last time they were in the wild card round? Do you remember that game? Who was that?
It was 2009. They got obliterated.
By who?
We were dead before I walked into the stadium. But
by who?
Let me get to this.
Who beat them? Who beat them in 09? Does anyone remember?
It's the Ravens.
Oh, so that Ravens team that does that stupid, obvious strategy of drafting the best players from the best colleges, which everyone does, the last time you actually played in the wild card round, which you want to take away from Joe Flacco, they came in here and literally kicked your ass onto the street. Was that the game you're talking about?
They did obliterate us in 2009.
Okay. I was just
with a running back from where?
I was just trying to set the record straight.
By the way, though? Rutgers. Yeah, okay, Mazz. That one's for you, Mazz. With a running back from Rutgers.
Right,
in your face.
One guy from Rutgers that can play and someone else got him.
Alex, I'm sorry. The Ravens are frauds because...
No, they're frauds because we talk about their pass rush all the time, Felger. They're number 2 in sacks this year in the NFL at 49. Did you know 23 of those sacks came against the Titans, Buccaneers, Falcons, and Jaguars, the 4 worst teams on their schedule?
There's no question they beat up on bad teams.
Did you know they had 0 sacks in the 2012 AFC title game against us? Did you know they had just 2 sacks in the 41-7 loss against us last year? This narrative about their pass rush being this dominant force, and that's how you beat the Patriots, that might be true, but it's not how the Ravens beat the Patriots. It's how the Giants beat the Patriots.
Well, let me ask you, how come when you won, it's us, and then when they lost, it's the Patriots? So I'm going to ask you, Alex, how did the Ravens beat you in 2 out of the last 3 times? How did they beat you?
They beat us. Well, there's a different story for every game. I mean, we know that 09 game, the Patriots walked into that game. That was the worst team we've had in a long time. There was locker room dissension. We were even playing in the wild card round. That tells you how badly that year went. The 2012 game, the Pats they didn't have Gronk. Talib got hurt early in the first quarter, and they didn't execute on offense, particularly in the red zone. They had 3 trips in the first half with their foot on their throat, and they ended up with 13 points. Without Talib, Marquise Cole got absolutely obliterated by Anquan Bolden. Ray Rice had a good day, and Flacco hit a lot of open guys that day because everyone was open because our secondary was so bad. It was 29th in the NFL that year. It was terrible.
Yeah, your secondary sucked that year, Alex. I would agree.
It did. It was horrible. Beyond sucked. 29th in the NFL, Felger.
Well,
unbelievably bad.
You should draft more good players from good college teams would be my advice on that secondary.
Hey, Alex.
Comment for you, Felger.
Alex, just quick question. When you talk about
in the offensive line, the Pats have only allowed 12 sacks in 11 games that unit has played together. And not coincidentally in that stretch, Mazz, they've averaged 34.7 points per game offensively. So there's no coincidence between good offensive line play and offensive production. It's gone hand in hand. 10 of the 26 sacks we've allowed this year came in weeks 1 through 4. I mean, it's been night and day.
Yeah, you got your ass kicked. You definitely got your ass kicked.
Alex, you got a score for Saturday?
No, I'll tell you what, good offensive line play.
For this one?
Vito, you want to score? They're going to cover 7. That's all you need to know.
All right, I'll take it.
Good offensive line play leads to good offense is also a revolutionary concept, Alex. I had not heard that one
I'm
before.
just saying the stats match up. When weeks 1 through 4, when we got beat up on the offensive line, we gave up a lot of we gave up a lot of sacks. We lost games, but since then they've solidified. Every game they've been healthy, they've been fine.
Alex, thanks for the call, honestly, and great landline. Tremendous landline. It's just a honkism that I can't.
I liked Alex.
A hard time
I liked
with.
Alex too.
Me too.
Well, I give him
Alex,
credit.
call back.
Yeah, so do I. Actually, I give him credit for laughing at himself. It's not something you often get. The
Stumped Felger a
the
couple
one
times,
thing I
too.
would say to him with regard to the Baltimore offensive line, okay, because again, we can all make the numbers say whatever we want. So you can go back to the regular season, talk about the 49 sacks and however many of them were against Tennessee. Fine. Did you watch the Pittsburgh game?
I did, actually, yes.
Okay, so in the Pittsburgh game, it felt to me like Roethlisberger didn't have anywhere to go often because he was getting smothered by 4 guys. He gets sacked 5 times, and he was under pressure constantly with 4 men. Now, if you believe that the Patriots' offensive line is as great as Alex says it is, great, terrific, no problem. Everybody can be content, no issue. I happen to think that edge goes to Baltimore. And I think that if the Patriots just match it up straight, their 5 against the Ravens' 4, they're going to have some difficulty.
And I think Bill Belichick will tell us how he feels about it by his game plan. As you've said, Mez, if he comes out, spreads it out, throws it sideways, goes hurry up, he is acknowledging, and there's no shame in this. You're not going to own every matchup in every game, but he's going to acknowledge that one, Baltimore D-line versus his O-line, is not in his favor. And it's okay, Alex. You don't have to own every matchup on the field. What you try and do is you try and coach around the ones you don't have.
Exploit the ones you do.
Okay, simple as that. And I think that we will know how Bill feels about that matchup by how he plays it. If he comes out and lines up and runs the ball and plays it straight and play action and that stuff, then he's saying, I think my O-line can handle them. And then we'll see if he's right or not. But you'll tell by Bill's game plan. The one thing I did agree with Alex is that, and it's beyond dispute, Baltimore is beaten up on bad teams this year. They have a horrible record against good teams. They're 1-6 against winning teams. So yes, a lot of their production, a lot of their good stats, a lot of their positivity came against crap. When they played good teams, they got beat. That is true. It's one of the big reasons why I like the Patriots. The Ravens, I think they're a little overrated in terms of their records and their rankings based on who they did it against. I agree with that.
Yeah, look, and it's something that has made the Patriots look better than they really are in a lot of these other years because they don't play anybody and they pad the record, and then they get into the playoffs and they get into a physical team that actually is playing real football, not this 7-on-7 finesse bullcrap, and shoves it down their throat, and that's the end of it. They start slapping them around. I think this is a more physical Patriots team, Mike. And you know what? The other thing is, like, we use that word a lot, right? They're mean, they're physical. I just mean it aggressive. How about aggressive? Because Darrelle Revis isn't as physical as Brandon Browner, but you know what? He's aggressive. He gets up on guys, he blankets them, he's all over them. They're playing more man-to-man. They're blitzing a little bit more in the interior. They're doing all these things they didn't do in the past because they can play aggressively. And that's all anybody has ever asked. So I think now Baltimore's going to have a much harder time dealing with that.
Okay, back to your phones right after we hear from Romy on continuing fallout from Detroit.